start by sharing the path that led to
Mhm.
is it Onigilly?
Onigiri, yes.
Onigilly.
Onigiri. So I came to the States, it was 2006. So before I moved to the US, I was in Tokyo uh, for 10 years. And I worked at tech startup. So I was super busy. And I almost every day I ate onigiri because it's so convenient. And onigiri is Japan's most popular grab and go kind of QSR, or like when you go to grocery store, you get a packaged sandwiches, right? So that the same. So onigiri is so popular in Japan, and you can get anywhere. So I used to eat every day, lunch and sometimes breakfast. So first I moved to here San Francisco, that was 2006. I was surprised because there are a lot of sushi places and even Japanese restaurant I saw, but I couldn't get onigiri. Uh, so that was the reason I started. Yeah.
Well, and so I mean, seeing a hole in the market. I can
Mhm.
remember I started a bar in Hollywood, and it was this New Orleans inspired concept. And my business partner and I are in the process of building it out, and we're having lunch one day. And he goes, "Why hasn't anyone done this?"
Mhm.
And I was like, "Well, either because I'm an idiot or I'm a genius."
Mhm.
One or
Yeah.
the other, right? When something
Mhm.
doesn't exist in the market this far down the
Mhm.
road,
Mhm.
you wonder, right? Like, is this a thing, right? And no one has tapped into this market yet, or is this
Mhm.
not a thing? And I'll be wasting time and burning money.
Mhm.
How did you know whether it was a good idea or not? Did you do any research? Was this just truly a passion project? What did it look like from the outset?
So at the beginning, I really enjoyed American fast food, burgers and pizzas and burritos. But I missed onigiri so much because onigiri is more affordable and healthier, and it's super handy. So, um, and I started to realize that maybe I should start because people in San Francisco probably will appreciate if I start onigiri, if I start introducing onigiri culture in San Francisco. And I came up the idea like subways everywhere. And they are simple, no cooking, small space. So, and because I'm a tech guy and I worked for startup a long time, so I started thinking about what's gonna happen if I develop a concept like onigiri, but a subway style. So it's not sandwiches, it's a Japanese and nobody knows. And in Japan and Asia, it's huge market. So I think it's between, I didn't plan to start a restaurant. I was into starting up uh, another tech startup, but it's a food concept. So I think at the first, it was my passion and that possibility to become a big chain. And also, I got a strong mission to bring onigiri to the America and make people's diet life easier, healthier. So without thinking that much. I did a small research, but of course, sushi. was popular then, but nobody talk about onigiri, and I didn't see it except for Japanese grocery store. And there's huge market in Japan, and with the system, I learned a lot from Japan. I believed I could make something unique and helpful for people. So that was my initial idea. I didn't think about too much. If I did research, maybe I didn't start. So that was my 100% passion and possibility.
And so I mean, to frame it for the audience, I mean, you have grown by leaps and bounds, and you are very successful. But like just hearing the genesis of your story, it sounds like every restaurant failure on the planet, right? Oh, I make this dish. Everybody loves this dish. They say that I should own a restaurant because this thing that I make is so good. Or, oh, I love this thing. Because there's a huge difference between like a food item or a food offering in a restaurant business. And so, what I'm very interested in is the business of your
Mhm.
restaurant.
Mhm.
So, when you initially started, how did you make sure that fundamentally, from a business perspective, as an outsider coming in, right, this thing could actually make money, not just make food?
So first, I didn't think about the money at all because I knew I'm not gonna make money at the beginning because the concept is so new. And actually, I we tried festivals, a few festivals. And first, we joined the Japanese festival in San Francisco called J-pop Festival. We did pretty well. And second, we went to a street food festival in San Francisco. We made it pretty well. But third, um, we went to Outside Land. It's one of the largest music festival. We couldn't sell, and we lost a lot of money. And I realized that because J-pop culture festival, people like to come to try Japanese flavors. Street food festival, yeah, for sure, people are looking for new concept. But the music festival, people are come to listen to the music, not the food. So they like burgers and pizza. They are Americans. So we were very struggle, and I lost a lot of money. I expected to sell more. So and then I realized, oh, this gonna take much longer than I expected because it introducing new concept to American people. So first few years, I didn't expect the money, but once we reached the point, I think we can make a lot of money. Yeah, that was my thought.
When did you reach that point? Like, was it the first location, the second? Like, at what point did you realize that, like, not that you had a viable concept, right, but that you had a viable business model?
Mhm. So first 5 years we opened. So we got the street cart, small one, and then we opened the first brick and mortar location, and we opened the second location in the first 5 years. But the first 5 years, actually, we didn't make money. I We were struggle, and it was like a break even. So I built a great product that I believed, and then it was okay. People like it, but I didn't have a strong impression. Oh, this is it. First 5 years. However, um, one time I thought about a little differently why people come to our restaurant, but they are not repeating that much. If people like it, they're gonna repeat and I can make money. So it's a good KPI, right? If you make money, we're gonna be, so it was break even. There's something wrong with me or my product. And then I changed the style. So traditional onigiri is most of them are rice and seaweed and something. So the fillings could be anything. And then I changed the ratio of rice and fillings ratio, and I made onigiri sandwich style. So we made two triangle patties and the sand. And then I could put more fillings. But if you do more traditional style, you put more rice, less fillings. So the ratio wasn't right. That's why American people, some of them like it, but majority are not acceptable because my mind was part of my Japanese mind thinks, oh, this is it. This is traditional onigiri style. So people is gonna like it. But that was not true. I didn't make money. That means I have to change. But I only, for the first 5 years, it was very difficult for me because I have families and I need to make
Sure.
money for living, but I couldn't make it. And but after I came up with the new idea and tried the new style at the second location, we got hit. So and since then we are really really busy every day for lunchtime traffic. Yeah, so I think 5 years, that was the time.
So, I think you bring up a great point. So, there are a lot of restaurants out there that are middling,
Mhm.
right? That are
Yeah.
struggling in the same way that you did for the first 5 years.
Mhm.
And I think that one of the reasons that we don't change, that we don't try, that we
Mhm.
don't iterate, that we don't experiment is because it's very easy to just blame awareness,
Mhm.
right? Oh, well, nobody
Yeah.
knows. When, like,
Mhm.
I sit across from clients and potential clients all the time, and I say, well, you've been around for 2 years or 3 years. You've probably seen tens of thousands of people,
Mhm.
and they just haven't come back. So,
Mhm.
like, those people know,
Mhm.
they just don't like it, or they don't know how it fits into their life, or they like it, but they don't like it enough.
Mhm.
Which, I mean, is horrible to
Mhm.
say, probably horrible to hear, but
Mhm.
doesn't make it any less true. It took you half a
Mhm.
decade to come. Was it that it took
Mhm.
you half a decade to come to that realization, or it just took half a
Mhm.
decade of struggle to bring you to the place where you were willing
Mhm.
to ask such a difficult question?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Uh, and so, which was it? Was it that you were waiting 5 years to see if you reached a level of awareness,
Mhm.
or was it that it just took that long to start asking the really tough questions?
Um, so after, because I think I believed, so the goal was to become nationwide chain. From the day one, came up with the idea, and I was expecting our concept to become nationwide, not popular, one great location. Because I set the goal, big goal, and it could take 20 years, 30 years, 100 years to be reached at the point. But I didn't care. I just wanted to make onigiri American mainstream. So that was a very strong passion. So I didn't care that much about the money. even now. But after 5 years, when I came up with the different shape and style, it changed. I could forecast. Oh, this was very successful. At least I made a great product and concept, and American people like it. And at the beginning, like you said, I blamed because onigiri is so new and so niche, so people, think our food as a sushi, but we are not sushi. But it was just a, ratio. So people, they don't care what this product is it sushi or not. But once people try it, and if it's, worth it, they gonna come back. But if it's not, it's not. Yeah.
I would ask you another question as well. So I opened this bar in Hollywood, and like it's same dream, right? I'm going to build this thing into this big national thing. And I would argue that over the course of the first couple of years, I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars wasted in this attempt to take this one thing and make it 100, like through the lens of just this one thing that like needed to work and needed to scale up fundamentally, foundationally. And the mistake that I made was in thinking big when I should have been thinking small. I shouldn't have been thinking about 100 locations. I should be thinking about this one location and how do I make it the best it can be? And what are the small incremental tweaks that I can make today to make it incrementally better? I mean, it's very much the same with children, right? Like we all want them to be doctors and lawyers and presidents and all of these things. But it's not about shooting for that. It's just about incremental improvement every day. Was that part of it as well, you think? Was it like because the goal was so big, it was more difficult to iterate on the small thing?
Yeah, so I think I was lucky because I experienced a lot during tech startup, and we, got a investment from, investors. We had a money, and we spent a lot, and it didn't work well because one mistake was very big. Because you have money, you want to spend, right? But when I started Onigiri, I didn't have money for that, and I decided we should not take investors' money, at least for the first few years, because I knew I'm gonna make mistake. So we didn't have money. That's why I made a lot of small mistakes, but it was not critical because you cannot spend money without money, right? So we tried a marketing product. We changed a lot of product style and tried a little by little, and then every day we improved something and tried to find the answer. What is the right one? So first 5 years, I tried everything I could without spending money, that much money. So and then after 5 years, now we got a good product. And then what's next? We didn't have that much money, but I started to thinking about how to become Subway. Why Subway? It's so big. Why they have thousands of locations? And then realized they can fit any space, and they don't need to cook. They have central kitchen. I think they have manufacturer, they have distributor, they have a great system. So it's about system. It's not food. And I opened two more small locations and created one virtual central kitchen, one manufacturer in San Francisco. It's a little bigger space with kitchen, and three very small, tiny spaces without kitchen. And we made our cooking part at one location, virtual co-packers, and then make food and then pack and freeze and send it to other small locations. And it took 5 years, and then we, were successful with that style, and then we started to outsource the co-packing part. So we went to Japan and LA. There are a few manufacturers, and they bake chicken for us. They make our teriyaki sauce, which we use to cook at our central location. So I know every detail, right? Because it took years, but I tried a little by little and made sure this is okay. Even chicken, how we bake, how we cut. I tried by myself, and then I teach our co-workers how to do it, and then so they follow our recipe. So now we have a great system, and now we have co-workers in Japan, LA, and other areas, and now we have distributors. They are nationwide. So I think, to your point, we tried at a small scale, but my vision was to become Subway. So we did same thing even 10 years ago. After we developed a product, we try the same thing, but now we are more scalable. But 10 years before, we tried the same thing. So we didn't spend that much money to try without, thinking big.
And so you're at a large scale now, right?
Mhm.
Significantly larger than like the context we're talking about.
Yeah.
Over the last 20 years, for the audience, do you want to tell them how many locations you have currently?
Right now we have 7 locations and 5 in development.
So, what I want to talk about is over 20 years, right? Like you've
Mhm.
diligently grown this business in a very
Mhm.
methodical way. Knowing
Mhm.
what you know now, if you started
Mhm.
from zero, how
Mhm.
long do you think it would have taken you to get to seven?
I think 3 years, maybe 2, 3 years.
What would you do
Yeah.
differently? Like for the people listening, right? Because it's knowing what you know now, right? Oh God, if we could
Mhm.
all. Um, but like, how would you have started? What would it look like? A more efficient version
I
of the same
think,
path.
yeah, for me, during 20 years, I saw a lot of concept. Some of them are successful, some of them, but the most, I can say 95% of the concept fails. Some of them were pretty popular at the first location. And then they started franchise and too fast and they failed. Some of them, grew from 1 to 3 locations in 2 years, but they failed. So I think, now I know who's successful, who's not successful. And typically, what I see some concepts, I can tell, oh, this is going to be successful, or this is going to be not. And then now I know people's essential demand, your customers, your guests demands. Like, what is the demand for your concept? And our case, like Onigiri, because Onigiri has, I think, 2,000 years of history in Japan, because it's rice and seaweed, and it's tied with Japanese rice eating culture. And so it's handy, healthy, and affordable. So it's good, right? People are always looking for something easy to eat, and healthier is better. But so sometimes, when, let's say, sushi burrito, this is a good example. So sushi burrito was very popular at some point. So a lot of Japanese restaurant started sushi burrito menu, and there were sushi burrito concept just selling sushi burrito. And then I enjoyed sushi burrito, but why sushi burrito doesn't exist in Japan? Why onigiri exist in Japan and has 2,000 years of history? And then when I bite sushi burrito, I realized this is good, but people, do people need a sushi burrito? Can people live without sushi burrito? Because first, you don't eat raw fish every day. You don't want to eat. And sushi burrito is good for the first few bites. But after that, you get bored. It's same texture, same flavors. So, but the onigiri is more like essential. You need a food. You are busy and you need to grab and go. And then onigiri is a cooked ingredients, not raw fish. But sushi burrito is different. So if in a certain occasion, sushi burrito is better. If it's a weekend, you want to hang out with your friend, you have, time and money, and you can exchange your sushi burrito cut in half, exchange with your friends, and you can enjoy two flavors. But if you sell only sushi burrito, this gonna be challenging. So same thing. Some restaurant get really popular, but after 2 years, what's gonna happen? A lot of them disappear because people think, oh, this is good, but people do not repeat because it's not essential. Without the restaurant, you can live and you don't have to go there every week or every month. But the successful concept has something, right? If the space is very relaxing, you want to spend, you want to meet you with your friend every month at this restaurant, then the restaurant's gonna survive longer than some other concept, just serving good food, but not essential. So I think it's you know onigiri and sushi burritos comparison, and now sushi burrito concept is not gone and nobody's talking about it, but we are still growing after 20 years. I think that could answer your question. I cannot explain well.
Um, and so I would ask you, you're deeply rooted in the Bay Area. And my God, when we think about like what's happened in the Bay Area from 2006 to today, right? Forgetting like a recession and a global pandemic and economic crises and all of these things. The Bay Area is just fundamentally different today than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
We have seen a massive exodus of restaurants and retail and all of this. And here you are in the area and you're growing. Talk to me about how you've weathered the changes. And I would argue like an environment and a community that has just been many different things over the course of the last several years, you know?
I think um, there were more, small concept, and there were a lot of coffee shops, small coffee shop, old but the unique concept. So I think there are still, few. There are great concept, but they are more, techie side, not like family owned. It's more like, rich, um, expensive, kind of, fashionable. But what I, used to love San Francisco is it's not that expensive, and you try a lot of great food without paying that much money. And each concept has a very unique, something, right? Taste or flavor. But now I think, I see $70 bento, sushi bento. I see more of fancier side. It's good, but a little difficult for a lot of people to try, right?
Does it impact your growth strategy as you move forward? Like, is it more about becoming further entrenched in the Bay Area or in Central or Southern California, or is it more about a national expansion at this point, or at least regional?
We are, I think we didn't increase the price that much over the 20 years. So we want to keep our price lower than any other competitors or Japanese concept. And that's our mission. So if you think about Japanese food, probably a lot of people says, oh, it's good, but expensive, especially sushi or omakase. Ramen is not cheap. Now, Japanese food in Japan, it's cheap, right? You get a great ramen in under $10 and you get great sushi, much affordable. And I really want to introduce the real Japanese with real price range. But here in Bay Area and I think nationwide, if you wanna eat great Japanese, you have to pay a lot because of
Yeah,
the
for sure.
labor cost is much different, and Japanese food needs.
For sure. When you look back over the last 20 years and you look at, everything that has gone well, um, what are the tactics, the tools, the strategies that you use that served you really well, like internally? Not like, oh, I priced it at this or I did this. Like, what is the skill set that you have that has helped you to succeed in an industry that is wrought with failure? That, like, we could steal, we could learn from.